Okay. Let's see. Mr. Manager, anything you need to clarify? Any further business on this topic? And we'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
No, thank you very much for the discussion this evening, and appreciate the time.
No new business. We're up to the manager's capital project.
Have the report in your packets, and I'll be very brief at this time tonight. If you have any questions, please let me know. We are still continuing to try to get to the bottom of what our collection system and the wastewater treatment plant, and some more work with that, and should be able to come up with some more technical findings here over the course of the next week or so. Part-time stormwater improvements were executed last week, and I think if you drive by, or if you were able to drive by on Thursday and Friday last week, after most recent building, everything seemed to be handled pretty well. And all reports the property owner was satisfied with the work as well. I guess if you haven't had a chance also to take a look at the work that we're doing with social media, in large part Commissioner Foley. We've got over 1,000 likes on a town Facebook page.
We're catching up with the police department.
Yeah, he's keeping a running tally and likes to rub in my nose every chance he gets, but he's over 11 for catching up pretty soon. We also have a Twitter account which has that's up over 150 followers. So that's all I have for this evening.
Okay, commissioner concerns. Well, let's see. I have no EDC updates for tonight. Anything from RPO?
No.
Solid Waste?
No.
Fairgrounds Association?
No.
Downtown persons? Go through commissioner concerns and starting with Commissioner Farrell.
I don't really have anything other than the paving that was done about 6 months ago on some of the side streets. We've got several potholes that need addressing. I don't know if that's still under warranty or what, but need to take a look at those. I guess John needs to check those out.
I'm sure this cold weather has been hard on this.
Okay. Commissioner Foley.
I'd just like to raise with one of the residents who wrote, I think we all received an email about how to communicate in the case of the sewage spill in the Hall River. I think we should really, as a board, or maybe as respect, we really need to have a plan of action if something like this happens again. How to notify people. Luckily, this was during cold weather, so it wasn't much of an issue. But if this happened during the summer, we need to make sure that maybe the police department is going to the places where people swim. We need to have a plan for how we will notify the public. I just think that that's something that we should take on.
What notification exactly?
Well, for example, the Hall River near the dam, if you go there in the summertime on a Saturday, there may be 20 people out there swimming. And if I were swimming in there, I would want to know that there had been a sewage spill. So I think that we need to have a method in place for, I mean, we need to look at that. How do we contact people? How do we let people know that something like that has happened? I just think that we need to give it some thought and have a plan. So if it happens, we jump right in and we say, we do this, and this. I think there's almost two plans. One is if something happens upriver, and then one would be if something happens in our sewage plant, how we would notify people down here.
I would have to think about that a little bit, because obviously that was not the town sewage still.
I know.
And we're required to notify if our operations, if the town operations are affected.
Right.
So I guess I have to really give that some thought as to where we start notifying and when we don't notify, what scenarios require the notification.
I guess it's something we should look at, that's all. I think it's something we should look at.
Yeah, if we're gonna ask the manager to look at that, I think that's fine, but I need to be sensitive to the fact that, when something like this happens, the availability of reliable, factual information is sometimes very scarce, with respect to timing and quantities, and, I talked to Mr. Rusbeck about that. It's entirely possible that, all of the, effects of that spill actually passed Pittsboro and were already in Jordan Lake long before, any, long before any public notices were given, so that it would have been an after-the-fact notice that, oh, by the way, 2 days ago, a plume of sewage floated by and has been in Jordan Lake for 2 days. So I'm sensitive to the fact that I don't know what he would report. And how we would do something that would be useful and timely to the citizens. Doesn't look like a big river from the ground level. That's a lot of water going down there, and that sewage spill in Burlington, while it sounded like a lot, is probably not as impactful as people may think it is.
There's probably a way to craft a notification like that. It has to be done carefully on a case-by-case basis.
There just needs to be any kind of emergency, how do we contact the public in case of emergency, and if people know ahead of time, if there's an emergency, go to this place on the website, or, I don't know what the answer is, but it just seems like we need to have some way to communicate when there is.
Well, there is a state mandated protocol for communication.
Right.
In the event of, say, for instance, the worst case scenario, boil water notice or something like that,
Yeah.
they actually dictate certain methods of communicating with the public that requires. And, I mean, like I said, in this case, I think it's a good point. I have to be real careful, and we have to be real careful with how we communicate information like that, because, I mean, all good intentions do have possible blowbacks. In this case, we tried to be as careful and conscientious as we could to everyone. And at the same time, obviously, as I informed you and as I tried to inform the public, we were very careful to make sure that we monitored every step of our operations to ensure that we were continuing to deliver safe product. The quote that Mr. Pickett had in the newspaper, which is, imagine this slightly taken out of context, was that if he hadn't been told by Burlington that there was a spill, he wouldn't have known about it. And I think that was mostly due to the fact that, as Mayor Terry said, the velocity of it passed by our intakes. We just weren't able to pick anything up.
Well, maybe it's simple as just going to the dam, actually having a police officer go and just to clear people out of the water. I don't know, I just wanted to raise it as a discussion.
If I may, Commissioner, also that would be, we would have to communicate with our law enforcement partners. That's actually a state park on the other side.
Yeah.
So for me to go into their jurisdiction.
Yeah, maybe not, I don't know, I just, I think maybe it's not our place, I just feel like we should do everything we can.
That's a good point.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Commissioner Fielder?
If Mr. Royal is here, I've got this North Carolina floodplain mapping program letter, and it reads as though the flood elevation for Jordan Lake dropped by about 9 inches. And I want to make sure we get that in context. I think it's based, well, please.
I'm not prepared to answer this in detail, but it's map modernization, new hydrology, new hydraulic models. So whatever and it's better technology. So whenever there's a map change, the community is notified. So this is just one of those notifications. The fact that it's down, did you say 9 inches?
Yeah.
That's just the basis of the new technology they're using to change the maps.
Okay. I was curious to know if it was just a change in the vertical datum that was used, and that not only did the water elevation drop, but everything in and around and surrounding it dropped with it.
I'll have to check.
Okay.
If I was a guessing man, I would say the model they had better LiDAR and they had a better reading of the actual elevation of the land around the lake. That's my guess.
So then the floodplain will have reduced in size?
Correct. Yeah, that's not
Okay.
rare.
Okay. If you could clarify that,
Sure.
I'd be curious to know.
Happens a lot, actually. Better data, better information.
Rick, could you stay there for just a second?
Okay.
This is an easy one for you. In Powell Place, you familiar with Millbrook Drive, how it dead ends down there at Freeman, Millbrook into Freeman?
Okay.
I think we've got a stop sign that the developer should have added out there. They've been doing a lot of building, but as you're going west on Freeman, there's no stop sign, and there shouldn't be. But as you're coming south on South Freeman, there's also no stop sign. So anybody coming up Millbrook and turning left, if there's somebody coming down Freeman and turning right, neither of them have to stop. And that's kind of a recipe for disaster. So, and every other feeder street onto Millbrook has a stop sign on it except that one. So you can
We'll take a look.
yeah, call Bryson Powell and tell him he needs to stick stop sign.
Okay, I just met with them the other day,
Yeah.
phase 2D, but I'll go back out there with them.
A citizen brought that to my attention that, we get a condition where traffic going west and turning left, traffic coming south and turning right, neither one of them are required to stop, and that's not good.
Okay,
Thanks.
take a look.
Mr. Baldwin?
I have couple of things, actually. There a street off of East Cornwallis that has a huge pothole, and I can give you the exact street. I have it on my email, and I will email that to you. There's another citizen that had contacted me about the possible traffic congestion over at Bojangles. And they were saying that basically, is there going to be a right turn lane? Because of course, there's going to be a lot of people that's going over there getting food and then probably going straight to Northwood. And so that's going to back them up, the people who need to turn right and go on to Chapel Hill. Yes. So I was just wondering, was that part of their plan, where they have a small right turn lane?
In 15501.
Off of Russet, I'm sorry, off of Russet Run, onto 15501.
Yes, that is right.
It should be, okay. All right. Thank you. That's the only two I have.
Mr. Kern?
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. There being no further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.